its master. Unquote. Good morning, class. By the end of this speech, I hope for every one of you to leave this room with a new perspective of the danger of the rapidly growing threat in today's society that can be found in the homes of every person here and in many different forms. This danger that I speak of is technology, specifically the internet. The internet is a tool created by humans for humans and can be valuable in many fields of work and school systems, as well as making everyday life easier. Raise your hand if you've ever used the internet in any way. Now look around at your classmates and even your parents in the back who have all used the internet in some way, whether it be a simple fact or to learn how to play a certain song on an instrument, or even new dinner recipes that have already been created at your own expense. Now imagine how much more difficult any of these tasks would have been without the internet or any form of technology. However, while these aspects of the internet have positively affected society, what is often overlooked is the harsh reality of the damage it has done to this world and the people in it, primarily to youth. As the internet becomes more advanced, apps including Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, Pinterest, and YouTube were invented, creating numerous different platforms, all with the same goal of manipulating the user into using their product as much as their own, despite the well-being of the customer. To accomplish this goal, the developers of these social media platforms have a list of techniques and algorithms they use to convince you to keep scrolling. Additionally, in order to learn these techniques, the majority of the people in this field of work are required to study what is called persuasive technology, where they learn about human behavior and psychology. This allows them to create addictive products that will convince you to just keep scrolling. This is a topic that was discussed by the former designer at both Google and Apple, Tristan Harris. Tristan explained in a Netflix documentary titled The Social Dilemma his reasons for quitting his job and working at Google in the department that focused on how to attract more users to Gmail. In this documentary, Tristan tells the story of coming home from work and contemplating the values of his department and the goal for the app when he realized that the well-being of the people was not in mind. From that point on, he told of how he would come home from work and write for hours a speech regarding the mission and intentions of their product. And when it finally came time to give the speech, everyone was inspired by this call to action, to be different from other social media apps, but still nothing was changed. Tristan then left Google after 3 years and became the co-founder of a non-profit business called the Center of Humane Technology. His mission now is to educate the public on the dangers regarding technology, and he had stated his opinion in the documentary that, quote, "We are training and conditioning a whole new generation of people that when we are uncomfortable or lonely or uncertain or afraid, we have a digital pacifier for ourselves. And that is atrophying our own ability to deal with it," unquote. As a result of the numerous social media platforms that have been created, a culture of hate and brutal critique has developed, which has had countless negative effects on young teens, countless negative effects on young teens and even some young adults. Studies of the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, otherwise known as the CDC, have proven that between the years 2000 and 2018, suicide rates increased by 37%. Interestingly, within this same time period, social media apps such as Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Pinterest had all peaked in their popularity. And the unfortunate truth in this statistic is that the correlation is not coincidence. And what's worse is that this is not the only negative outcome of social media. This social media culture has been proven to cause depression in young teens as a result of the brutal criticism that occurs in aspects of each product. Additionally, certain social media apps have features such as streaks or other incentives in order to convince the user to return to the app on a daily basis, and sometimes even sooner. An example of this is Snapchat, which according to the Pew Research Center is one of the most used apps among teens. Within this app, the developers created an aspect called a snap streak, which keeps track of the number of days in a row that two people send pictures of themselves to each other. And you may be wondering, why is this so appealing? Tristan Harris explained the problem this way. Quote, They invented a feature called snap streaks, which shows the number of days in a row that two people have communicated with each other. In other words, what they just did is they gave two people something they don't want to lose. If you're a teenager and you have 150 days in a row, you do not want that to go away. And this isn't theoretical. When kids go on vacation, it has been shown that they give their passwords to up to 5 other friends, keep their snap streaks going, and even when they can't do it themselves. And they have 30 of these friends, so they have to get through taking pictures of walls or ceilings just to get through their day, unquote. He then explained how many teens and adults, when attempting to justify constantly sending pictures of themselves to other people as a means of communication, they often argue that it is no different than a simple text message or phone call. However, he then makes the point that when texting or calling, quote, there isn't 100 engineers on the other side of the screen who knew exactly how your psychology worked, unquote. This example is only one of the countless tactics used by developers in order to gain your attention and hold on to it for as long as they possibly can. Another method that is used by platforms is the like button. While this button may seem like a harmless way to spread positivity or joy, it has slowly become a form of acceptance that is desired by the vast majority of users. This desire to be liked and accepted by thousands of people you likely never actually talked to often causes many to alter their on-screen appearances in order to mask their imperfections, which eventually leads to insecurity about the person God has made us. Additionally, these apps have included the option for us to share a post we might see with our friends. And by doing so, we are helping the developers achieve their financially motivated goal of convincing as many people as they can to use their product for as much time possible. However, these features that I've listed are only a few of the countless methods used by social media developers in order to steal your attention and draw you to your phone. Now, many of you may be thinking, now all that sounds horrible, so I just won't use or will stop using all of those social media apps that you just warned me of. However, I would challenge you when you go home to delete all of your apps that cause you to check your phone throughout the day, or at the very least, turn off all of your notifications. At first, you may not see the reason behind this, so let me explain to you before you decide to completely disregard what I just said. This week, I took a poll within my family regarding each person's daily average screen time usage and the number of times we pick up our phones, and the results I found were extremely alarming. We spent an average time of about 6 hours a day on our phones, and picked them up a shocking 143 times. According to the CDC, the average American is awake for approximately 16 hours and lives for about 80 years. This means that we spend about 25% of our lives on our phones, which adds up to about 20 years. If this statistic doesn't scare you even a little bit, you might need to go see a doctor. Furthermore, the person in my family who picked up their phone the most times, oddly enough, is one of only 2 people who has Snapchat, and they picked up their phone about 300 times a day on average, due to the constant notifications being sent to their phone telling them that yet another 20 people sent a picture of their forehead. Now I realize that after I took the poll within our class that most of you spent less time on your phone than the average time spent within my family. However, if you calculate how many years of your life you spend on your phone, I guarantee you that you too will be shocked by how much time you spend on your device, when instead you could be doing something much more productive. As I said in the beginning of this speech, my goal was to inform you of the dangers of technology and social media in our society, and I hope now that each one of you will be more intentional with your time, rather than going straight to a device when you're bored. However, whether you have been persuaded by my speech or not, I dare you, with the approval of your parents, to go home and watch The Social Dilemma on Netflix and not walk away with a different perspective on the silent killer technology.